This lesson focuses on multiplication. We are learning to multiply by 10 and multiply by 100 with decimal movements. Multiplying by 10 is pretty easy when there's no decimal involved. So we've got 12 times 10. All we've simply got to do is to add a 0. So our new answer will be 120. 67 multiplied by 10. Again, all you've got to do is add on 1 0 to give us 670. And then we have 490 times 10. Again, there's no decimal point, so all I've got to do is add on 1 0 at the end to give me 4,900. You will notice that we add on 1 0 on each occasion. That's because in the number 10 there was 1 0, so we add 1 0 to get our answer. Multiplying by 100 is equally as easy when there are no decimals involved. Here we have the number 19 times 100. 100 has 2 zeros, so we need to add 2 zeros to our answer to get 1,900. 89 multiplied by 100. Again, we've got 2 zeros in 100, so we need to add 2 zeros to our answer. So it's 8900, 8,900. And our last one, 33 times 100. Again, you add on your 2 zeros to get 3,300. On the screen are 3 questions that I would like you to quickly multiply and find the answer of. Let's have a look at our 3 answers then. So the first question, 8 times 100. I've just got to add on 2 zeros to get my answer of 800. 61 times 100. Again, we're adding 2 zeros because there's 2 zeros on 100. So 6,100. And our final one would be 3,700. Multiplying by 10 and multiplying by 100 become a little trickier when we have decimals involved. So our first question then, we have 3.7 multiplied by 10. When I'm multiplying by 10, I'm going to have to move my decimal point 1 place because there's 1 0, and we're moving it to the right. So our answer is going to give us a bigger number than we started with. So if I look at my 3.7 multiplied by 10, my decimal point has to move 1 place to the right because there's 1 0 in 10. So my answer then would just be the number 37. So we look at this question again a little more closely. We began with 3.7. So 3.7 is just 3.70000. Those zeros go on forever. That's why we don't write them. But we're moving our decimal point 1 place to the right. So we put our decimal point between the 7 and the 0, giving us our new answer of just 37. 3.86 multiplied by 10. So again, we're going to be moving our decimal point 1 place to the right. And it goes 1 place because there's 1 0 in the number 10. And our answer will give us a bigger number than we started with. So we have 3.86. We're moving our decimal point 1 place to the right. So our decimal point will go between our 8 and our 6. We can remove the first one. So our new answer then is 38.6. Multiplying by 10 again. So again, our decimal point must move to the right. And it's going 1 place because there's 1 0 in the number 10. So our question, 67.98 multiplied by 10. So let's write our question out. We have 67.98. My decimal point is going to move 1 place to the right. So my decimal point will now be between the 9 and the 8. And I can remove my first decimal point. So my new answer will read 679.8. 4.3 multiplied by 10. So again, let's look a little bit closer at this question. 4.3 simply means 4.3000, and those zeros continue on and on. So if we're multiplying, we're going to move our decimal point to the right, and we're moving it one place because there's 1 0 in the number 10. So my decimal point is going to move one place to the right, so it will now go in between the 3 and the 0, and I can remove my first decimal, the original. So my answer now reads 43.000 and so on, so it's just the number 43. Let's see if you can multiply by 10. So remember, you're going to be moving your decimal point to the right, and you have the question 3.59 times 10. So your decimal point will move to your right, and it's going to move just once. So the new decimal point will be between the 5 and the 9. So your new answer will read 35.9. 0.46 multiplied by 10. So again, decimal point will be going to the right with multiplication, and it's going to go one time to the right because there's 1 0. So my number then is 0.46. My decimal point's got to move to the right. So it will finish up between the 4 and the 6. So your new answer is 4.6. And a good little way to check to see if your answer is going to be correct is it must be bigger than your original number. So if you've got a smaller number, you know you've moved your decimal point the wrong place, because multiplying it is going to give you a bigger number. Now we're going to multiply by 100. Again, with multiplication, your decimal point's going to the right, but on this occasion, it's going to move twice because there are 2 zeros. So I have the number 7.988. Got to move that decimal point twice. So one movement, two movements. My decimal point is now in between the 2 8s, and my answer will read 798.8. 798.8. My second question, 49.04 multiplied by 100. Again, your decimal point's going right, and it's going right twice because there's 2 zeros. So my number that we begin with is 49.04. My decimal point is going to go to the right twice. There's one movement, two movements. My decimal point finishes up at the end of my number after that number 4. So my answer is 4,904. Okay, this question then, 17.7 times 100. By now I'm sure we're all confident and we know that we move our decimal point to the right with multiplying, and it's going to be going twice to the right because there are 2 zeros. But let's write out that number that we're multiplying, 17.7, and we'll put in a few zeros because they're there, and we don't normally write them because there's no numbers actually there. So 17.7000 and so on. We're moving that decimal point twice to the right. That would be one movement, two movements, so I'm going to put my new decimal point in. I'll remove that old one. So my new answer would read 1770.0, which is just simply 1770. On this slide, we're multiplying the same number on both occasions. Top one, we're multiplying it by 10, and then the second one, down below, we'll multiply it by 100. 92.9 times 10, 92.9 times 100. You can pause your video and work out your answer and come back to check. Our first question then, 92.9 times 10. So we're moving our decimal point to the right, and it's moving one time because there's 1 0 in 10. So my decimal point will end up after that second 9. So our new answer is 929. Second one's a little trickier. If we write the number down that we're working with, 92.9, We'll put in a few zeros because they're going to be needed. We're moving our decimal point 2 times to the right. Once, twice. Put our decimal point in. I'll remove that first decimal point. So my new answer would read 9,290. Here's another opportunity to practice multiplying by 10 and by 100 on the same number. You can pause your video, work out your answers, and come back to check. Our first question then, 64.05 times 10. We're moving that decimal point one place to the right. So my decimal point will finish between the 0 and the 5. So we will end up with 640.5. On my second question, my decimal point again goes to the right with multiplication, but it's going to move twice. Once, twice, it will finish up after the number 5. So we have 6,405. 3.59 times 100. As always, with multiplication, we're moving our decimal point to the right, and it's going to move twice because there's 2 zeros. One movement, 2 movements. So my new answer is 359.000, which is just 359. Here's another opportunity to practice multiplying by 10 and by 100. You can pause your video, work out your answers, and come back and check. Our first question, 0.43 multiplied by 10. Moving our decimal point one place to the right, so our new answer is 4.3. And the second question, we're moving our decimal point 2 places to the right, once, twice, so it finishes up after the 3. So our answer is 43.000, which is just 43. Here we have a few more examples of multiplying by 10. So we have the number 12, which is just simply 12.000, and so on. Your decimal point moves to the right one place, meaning our new answer will be 120. Next one, 67.99. Again, your decimal point moves one place and it's going to the right. So it will finish between the two nines, so we end up with 679.9. And our last example, 41.9 multiplied by 10. You're moving that decimal point one place to the right, giving us an answer of 419. Here we're going to multiply by 100. So our decimal point again will go to the right with multiplication, and it's going to go twice to the right. Our first question, 1.19. Your decimal point moving to the right 2 places, giving us a new answer of 119. Our middle question, 89.94 times 100. Got to move that decimal point 2 places to the right. 1, 2. So your decimal point finishes up at the end. So we've got 8,994. And our final question, again your decimal point's going to the right 2 places. Once, twice. Our new answer then is just 33. Right, we've done quite a few examples on multiplication with your decimal moving to the right. I'm sure you can predict what direction your decimal point will move when we're dividing by 10 or dividing by 100. We're going to move our decimal point to the left. Again, the number of zeros dictates how many times you move to the left. And a good little way to check to see if your answer is correct is you should be getting a smaller number than what you began with. So our first one, 81.9, and we're dividing it by 10. So my decimal point will move to the left. It's going to move one place, so it finishes up between my 8 and my 1, giving me an answer of 8.19. Second question, 699.1 divided by 10. So again, your decimal point's going left. It's going left one place. So it's going to finish up between the two nines. So we have 69.91. And our final question, Again, decimal point will go left with division, and it's going to go one place because there's 1 0 and 10, and it will finish between the 0 and the 3, so 3.07. On this slide we have a mixture of multiplying by 10 and 100 and dividing by 10 and 100. So our first question, 80 times 100. 80 is just 80.0000, and all we've got to do is move our decimal point 2 places to the right for multiplying. So we finish it with the decimal point between the two zeros down there, giving me an answer of 8,000. Second one, 30 times 10. 30 is just 30.000. Decimal point will go one place to the right with multiplying, giving me a new answer of 300. With dividing, we are going to move our decimal point to the left, and 9,000 is just 9,000.000. Decimal point will move one place to the left, giving me an answer of 900. And our final one, 3,000, is just 3,000.000, and your decimal point will go two places to the left because it's division, and we go left and we're dividing by 100, giving me an answer of 30. Now, an even quicker way to get these answers would be just to remove zeros. So if I look at my first one again, 80 times 100, well, all I've got to do is add on two zeros because there's no decimals involved, give me 8,000. 30 times 10, add on 1 0, give me 300. 9,000 divided by 10, remove 1 0, 900. And 3,000 divided by 100. You remove two zeros because there's two zeros in 100, giving you your answer of 30. But keep in mind, that method of adding zeros or subtracting zeros only works when there's no decimals involved. First question, 99 times 100. So like we already talked about, we can just simply add on a 0 to give me 990. And let's look at why that is the case. Because 99 is just 99.000. You're moving that decimal point one place to the right. With multiplying, we move the decimal to the right. Our second one, we're multiplying it by 100. So again, I can just add on two zeros if I wish. Give me my answer of 3,400. If we look under this black box, we can see why that's the case. 34 is just 34.000. You're moving your decimal point two places to the right, giving you that 3,400. Third question down. We have 7,800 divided by 10. Well, all I can do, if I wish, is just remove one of the zeros. And let's look again to see why that is the case. So we have our number of 7,800.000. Your decimal point is moving one place to the left for division, giving you 780. And the last question, 7,500 divided by 100, I could jump straight in and give my answer of 75. And if we look at the number at the bottom, we can see why. So 7,500.000. Your decimal point is going two places to the left because it's division, giving you your answer of 75. Here are 4 division problems I would like you to try. Remember, with division, our decimal point is going to go to the left, and your answer should result in a smaller number than what you began with. Number 1 then, our decimal point will move to the left one place, so our answer will be 9.39. Number 2, your decimal point again goes left one place, so your answer is 3.145. Third question down, our decimal point again moves to the left, it's going there one movement, 7.856 will be our answer. And our final question, we're dividing by 100, so our decimal point is still going left, but this time it's going left twice. 1, 2, giving me an answer of 7.693. Here are 4 further questions that I would like you to try and then come back and check your answer. Right, let's see how we get on. First question, 3.9 divided by 10. Moving your decimal point to the left once will give me an answer of 0.39. Second question, again our decimal point will move to the left just once because we're dividing by 10, will give me an answer of 7.69. Third question, 209.4 divided by 100. Moving our decimal point 2 places to the left, once, twice, so my decimal point finishes up after the 2, 2.094. And the final question, again moving your decimal point to the left for division, and we're going there twice, 1, 2, so the decimal point will finish up before the 9, so it's 0.998, and you need a 0 at the very start, of course. Right, let's do these three together. Our first question, again, decimal points going left for division, and it's going left once, give me an answer of 1.78. Second question, 469 divided by 10. 469 just means 469.0000, and the zeros go on forever. So I'm moving that decimal point one place to the left. It finishes up between my 6 and my 9. Give me an answer of 46.9. And our final question, again moving our decimal point to the left once. It will finish between your 2 and your 4, giving you an answer of 2.49. Okay, these are our final three questions. Can you work out the answer, then come back to check? Number 1 then, 325.9 divided by 100. When we divide by 100, we're moving left twice. 1, 2. Decimal point finishes up after the 3, so it's 3.259. Second question, 56.88 divided by 100. Again, your decimal point goes left twice, so it will be before the 5, so it's 0.5688. And we need a 0 in at the very start, so 0.5688. And our last question is just simply 788.0000. We're moving that decimal point twice left, once, twice, so it finishes between the 7 and the 8. 7.88 is our answer.